Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We got Veracity on our radar today, VRA. Guys, this is one of our favourite projects here on the Whales of Wall Street, and certainly one of our biggest bags in our portfolio. Multitude of reasons. Go and check out our intro video that we'll leave at the end of this one if you want more information on Veracity, albeit that video probably is done last June or July. Quite a bit has changed since then, but the general principles, the foundation of the project are still remaining and continue to keep the positive momentum going. So looking forward to this year in particular for Veracity, especially for one of my favourite things in the world, gaming, especially eSports. As you know from previous videos, I was dealing a lot with eSports partnerships a few years back. Even back then, eSports has grown significantly. We'll go into some stats in a second, but the reason I wanted to bring this particular video to your attention, we've seen Veracity building up over the last few days. Not saying that it's particularly because of this, because to be honest, the actual main moves have been in the last 2 days. These announcements kind of came out probably around about 5-6 days ago. But generally speaking, I wanted to pull this out because of the magnitude of this. So we've got Axie Infinity, obviously a very powerful game utilizing blockchain. Something that is really exciting to me is Veracity is going to be using its VRA eSports website. We'll open that up in a second in the background. And it's going to be hosting, or essentially showing, the Galaxy Cup. So this is going to be really cool. So this is the 2022 tournament. And I think there's a good amount of rewards up for grabs, something like $30,000 worth via the AXS prize pool. But also because of Veracity, as you know from previous videos, we talked about this quite a lot, this watch to earn mechanism. Now, Veracity is going to be showing off its proof of view mechanism in terms of the advertising, but it's also going to be showing off its capabilities of this watch to earn technology, as we mentioned here. So we've been on VRA eSports before. We've shown you a few video examples, and we've shown you even ourselves getting the rewards as we watch these things. Now, there's some other games on here, of course, CSGO, Counter-Strike, very big game, Dota, to name a few. I'll go into a bit more detail about that one in a second as well. But for me, this is absolutely brilliant, and all it needs really is for Veracity to really upscale its marketing, more so than it already is doing, and this thing will absolutely fly just from the esports side, let alone the NFT things it's doing with proof of view, proof of purchase kind of aspects. Esports for me is just an absolute giant money maker. It has been for a few years now. To be fair, esports, I was watching things like on Sky One, like Games Master, where you had Games Guru come on every 15 minutes with like cheats, press X, Y, X, like all that cool stuff. When you're a kid, you're like, I'm going to put these cheats in the controller, and you got infinite ammo and stuff. And watching all those LAN games, local networking games, absolutely brilliant. But of course that transpired. Games that I used to play when I was younger, it's like silly ones like F-22 Lightning. You're just flying around jet fighters and stuff, multiplayer around the world. It's so cool. Delta Force. These were really aspiring games to me. And now we're entering a really cool world of blockchain technology and the way that people can interact using NFTs and tokens and play to earn. It's absolutely amazing. And there's so many people now. I mean, the players I worked with a few years ago for Team Dignitas at the time, these guys were on a phenomenal amount of money per month playing games, and you just thought, wow, that's crazy. But actually the market justifies that, and you know what, it was a hobby and interest, and what better way could you live your life where you're earning a load of money doing something you love, that's fun as much as gaming. Of course it's not for everyone, but you have to admire the absolute magnitude and potential of this system. So since the years have been going on, we'll just pull out some stats here. My stats actually started in 2015. Maybe I'll share the presentation in the next video. but these numbers are very much on par with where they were expecting it to be, if not more. So this is the esports audience growth globally. A few years back when I did my research, it was very much heavily kind of China, Germany, Korea, to name a few really top level ones in terms of audiences and growth. But as a global entity, especially over the last couple of years, with the pandemic, everyone was at home and gaming becomes so big, bigger than it was before, with the participation and the engagement of watching. I don't watch the news or anything, I don't watch TV, but every now and then I'll stick Twitch on and I'll watch some people playing games or have it in the background. It's pretty cool. So you can see here the numbers are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So esports enthusiasts, against occasional viewers, the numbers are just growing on both hands. And you look at back down here, this is very interesting. Obviously various aspects of gaming, mobile and console, but these numbers are significant. I mean, look at those prize pools that have just grown over the years. I do remember, it may have been the Dota one, but I'm pretty sure it's League of Legends as well. Something like $2 or $3 million, and I was literally sitting there going, "How on earth is this possible? Like this prize money is mental." And look at that now. Look at that. That is absolutely bonkers. The same game is not 3 million prize pool anymore. It's 34. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, the following table shows the largest pool prizes for any single event. Look at these numbers. Of course, Dota is a phenomenal game. I played it a few times. League of Legends, as I said years ago, was one of the really definitive esports games that people would go and watch in arenas and stuff. But it's absolutely mental, isn't it? But here's something I wanted to pull out as well. You're talking about like digital and streaming. These numbers are really important to understand, and sponsorships, to be fair, in terms of like advertising and branding. These critical numbers collectively are very important to the likes of Veracity, because they are going to be getting this sort of recognition of proving that the viewership numbers are correct, and therefore the people that are paying for advertising, this, that and the other, have full verification. And with this whole blockchain interlacing, it really is something that can be identified and verified extremely easily. So absolutely brilliant. And here we go. This was mentioned earlier. China is expected to be the home of the most esports enthusiasts 2021. 92.8 million viewers, guys. My goodness. But yeah, absolutely brilliant to see the development of this. And I'm really excited because I'm a holder of Veracity. I love this esports platform that we showed you before. And there's loads of other stuff going on as well, the VRA player and whatnot, very similar to what Theta are doing, of course. But I just feel like Veracity is just like Theta a few years ago maybe, and it's just exciting, and the partnerships, and I want to point this out as well, and I was kind of expecting this to happen anyway, but ESI is one of my favourite esports publications. It has been for a number of years. I know the guys there really well. There's a lot of other gaming publications that I've been involved with over the years. And what's defining this for me is blockchain gaming, play-to-earn mechanism, and the fact that VRA Esports and Veracity in itself are being included in these articles more and more as the weeks go by. This is what really, as an investor, if you're looking for marketing and stuff, you don't just look at the tokenomics, you don't just look at what they do as a project, you look at all the things they're actually doing real world wise. And this for me is just absolutely fantastic to see. I really do believe still that if we attack this bull run over the next few months or in this year somehow, sometime, I truly believe at least a minimum of 21 cents is achievable for Veracity in 2022. Many out there, when we were talking about the bull run last year, of course it's extended to this year, especially after the correction that we've had. I think that people were shouting about being $1. I think that may be a bit excessive, but certainly 30-50 cents is easily possible with these kind of activities. And this is just the start, guys. So we've got to be really interested and mindful of this aspect as we look into the price chart. Do smash that like button if you like what you hear and see. let's take a look at the chart of Veracity. So we see this absolutely brilliant blow up here, which we saw across most markets, to be honest. But Veracity has a unique move in the sense it has a very nice step ladder effect. The news kicked in about Axie. We had a bit of a sell-off. It could literally have been maybe towards that rumour mill of it happening and this, that and the other. Very convenient that around the time it was announced, it tailed off. Of course, most of the market as well did that, to be fair. But this is quite slightly different to majority of asset markets in the crypto space. So really exciting. And now we're having this full momentum upwards again. I think we just literally crossed midnight here in the video recording. So that's why we're starting a new candle here in the UK. It might be slightly different for you guys wherever you are in the world. But some key points, which I pointed out a few videos back now, actually, to be fair. This area here was of great interest because not only is it a new higher low, it's also something that's matched a really critical area back here in August 2021 and some key areas back here in May and March last year. Now, why am I bringing those together? Is because we had the big price discovery modes. We pulled ourselves back down. It's magnetized it back here, and it went on a very, very nice run indeed, taking us, I think, just under 10 cents. I think it was 8.7. So really, really, absolutely brilliant moves there. Been accumulating like mad around this area. I bought another small dip here because I did anticipate that we might wave off around this area. I think we're in the last Veracity video we mentioned that this could be a great area of purchasing. We actually put a buy order in at 0.025 if you remember that video, and we've hit that because I did it slightly above it. I think it was like 257 or something, and I think literally on a couple of occasions it did dip down below that number specifically. So we're really pleased with that. It doesn't always go right, but you can at least anticipate, and it's not just a question of I'm just going to put it there for the sake of it. If you actually look back in the data, look at that, there's these lovely touch points down here, especially September, end of September. This is again the whole conversation about big price discovery moves or big moves, is that, well, hang on a minute, we haven't got any support here. There's nothing here. We smashed back down from that one, and we're coming back down here, and then it's matching literally this area here. We can hopefully try and take that off now, but very interestingly, the area of next is here and here back in January as well. So we can tail ourselves back up, and hopefully, I mean, the fib retracement is slightly out, but you could argue that we're very much looking around this 3.2 cent mark. In fact, we should pull this up. So we're just slightly under that, but more importantly is the 3 cent as a bang on rounded number. Okay, so looking roughly around this area here, which touches literally on these low points here in December. So we've already moved our way up slightly from these areas here. I do anticipate potentially for us to come back down and test that area, maybe not completely as low as that, but at least this area maybe here on the macro just under that 3 cent mark would be a really nice buy point for me, of which I'm going to put a buy order in after this video, actually, just maybe I don't know, 22.9 and a half. I'm not sure yet, but it'll certainly be around that area, because I do think this area is going to be great interest of magnetizing itself at 3 cents. That doesn't always mean it's going to bounce above it. It also sometimes means it will drag slightly under and then pull itself back up, just to confirm that area, really. So really exciting stuff, personally, in my opinion. Like I said in the last video as well, I'm a bit wary of this big uptake here. Just got to be cautious of that still. That can sometimes take a couple of weeks to really define itself, as if that's too much, or indeed it was overdue. So we've got this nice pattern of waving here on the MACDs, and the over purchasing power is brilliant. We've had this wave down it, and it literally picked itself back up, which is not something we've really seen since probably back here in October last year, but even then it was quite minimal. This is actually very interesting indeed to see this pattern. So we've taken ourselves from these lower regions of RSI numbers, both on the 14 and the 28 days, very good buy points as we mentioned at the time, taken ourselves up to these great areas of around 68 on the 14 and 53 on the 28. Now for me, I did sell a bit, and then I bought back in this dip, as I mentioned earlier. Only a small amount, very small amount. just an initial investment basically that I put in down here. So that was great. Put it back in because I felt we weren't really going to come lower than 2.5, to be honest. And here we are, back up over 3, which is great. So it's a great move for us. But now we're seeing some stabilization on that 28-day, which is really good to see. But on the 90-day, we're again getting to that middle ground. So we've gone from 45 nearly to 49, nearly 50. This is really good, guys. Like, I just feel like this is really great opportunity soon for Veracity to fly itself up. However, I am being cautious, of course, because with all this nonsense going over in Russia and Ukraine and stuff, you just don't know, guys. Like, I always believe the markets move to narratives around the world. So that's the only real thing right now that I can consider Veracity having a threat. Because all these great things that they're doing, and it's not just Veracity, it's most assets in anywhere really, to have a consideration of the things that are going on, for sure, around the world, because this does always have effects on stocks and shares and this, that and the other, and usually right now does indeed trickle into crypto as well. So just be cautious of that kind of stuff. Obviously it's always risk when you're investing in any magnitude, as it is, so just keep an eye on that. But other than that, I'm just going based on the data that we can see, the RSIs we looked at and everything like this. Like I said, I do think we could potentially drop ourselves down. I think actually, to be fair, I might just do it just under that 29 cent mark, maybe, I don't know, 0.0297. It's not a massive move, but it's probably enough to get a nice little discount there. So that's where I see where it might be coming back down eventually to bounce up. But if we can get support over this 3 cents, guys, which we did, to be fair, close yesterday just over that, today's going to be a bit of a battle. See which one, whether it be bull or bear, wins in today's market. But if we can support at 3 cents, I think we could try and test this area again at 3.5, and we could then bolster past that. If we can get support at 3.5, guys, the next level up, in my opinion, is going to be just over that 4.3 cent mark. This is probably going to be a key area where I may do a bit of selling, just around this area here, if it allows me to draw, or is it just going to sit there? How annoying. So yeah, probably just under that, maybe just tailing off around here, around this area. That's going to be probably my key selling point for perhaps taking out a big chunk of what I bought down here, because it's very much doubled position. I'd be very happy to, if it did come back down, to retest these levels eventually, and this kind of move down to these levels again could be another buy opportunity with the money that I've got from profit taking here. So let's see how that plays out. A couple of other performance indicators before we wrap up. So we're just under negative in the weekly, which is not too bad. The month is still quite slow, and as we said, for the 3 months, it's going to take a while, probably actually another 2-3 months anyway, for this to switch around properly. But it's really encouraging because on the 6 month, the longer term, we're still in green. Year to date, of course, understandably, because we've had the big traction down since November last year, to be honest, that's understandable, but that year is still up 1,000%, guys. And imagine if we can continue this traction, like it's a year 1,000% up on 1 year. If we can get the maintained levels here and push that up, this number is going to jump significantly, in my opinion. So guys, that pretty much wraps up Veracity. This is where we think we're going to make some moves over the next week or so. Let us know what you think in the comments below about this project. Are you holding Veracity? Have you been buying and selling in the last few weeks? What have your moves been? What's been your successes and failures as well? We always love to learn from failures and understand that. But we will for sure cover Veracity in a few days' time. But until then, guys, thanks so much for watching. We will catch you in the next Veracity video. Take care. Bye bye.